Alright, in the top left-hand side, we're going to start off with the Blue Zerg, who didn't have the smoothest of starts, to be honest. Like, he won 2-0 over Reynor, but did I expect him to have to spend 55 minutes in-game to kind of take a 2-0 over Reynor? Honestly, no, not at all. And he had some tricky moments, especially in Game 1. Game 2, I really felt like he controlled very well. Game 1 did get a little sticky at points in the top left corner. Our Blue Zerg player here is going to be Rainor. We'll see how similar it looks to that last series, or if he's a bit more daring against a man like Cure, the red Terran in the bottom right side. Obviously, Cure likely bring a different style of play a little bit as well, so I'm intrigued. I'm interested. Rainor really played super passive in that second game, so I'm not sure if that's something you can really even get away with kind of doing here, so it's going to be interesting for sure. As the barracks comes through, refinery comes up, SCV is on the way. We're just getting everything rolling for the next few moments. So SCV coming through, the barracks coming by, hatchery and the drone coming up as well as we take a few seconds to settle into what will be our third series of the day here in the Korean Royale, guys. So we've got Reynor versus Cure, and then, like I said, we've got Solar versus Reynor. Lots of TVs in a row. And then we're going to have Solar versus Reynor, followed by Nightmare versus Solar and Nightmare versus Cure to round the day out on this opening day. 7-player groups. Everyone plays everyone in each of these groups. And there are 2 groups. You'll be seeing Group B kicking off on Tuesday, guys. So you'll be able to see the first games from Group B on Tuesday as we dive into the second group of the Korean Royale. Again, there are 6 group days in total over the next couple of weeks. And we're going to be aiming to finish off at the end of November with the playoffs. Very exciting. Hatchery, gas, and pool all coming through. Command Center and Reaper in production. Let's get this on the go right now. Reaper is going to pop out and go take a little bit of a journey around. There's already an SCV scout on the other side of the map, secure, being very safe. There's always the added benefit of if you SCV scout, you can kind of use that as a block to kind of force a certain expansion pattern and kind of stop the Terran from taking, or stop the Zerg from taking certain expansions early. Ideally, you want to kind of force the Zerg to kind of expand toward you as the Terran player, so if you can do that successfully, then great. And also now you know very safely what the Reaper can do in this case, because it's hatchery first. The Reaper comes across the map and starts to harass. You can see that Reaper hopping toward the main base. Lings are here to play defense. Obviously just played 10,000 feet in that last game. Reynor did play the no-ling defense on that one, but he was also playing gasless and not into that faster ling speed, which is exactly what he does here. So mixing up the build a little bit from that from game to game, despite the similar map. Obviously different opponent, so there's a good reason to do that as well, to be fair. As that Reaper takes a few shots, and it's very low, but it's actually going to get to start regenerating. The units have not been able to catch it just yet. Now the Zerglings might force it into the corner. Couple nibbles. Oh, you're actually going to be able to get away with this Reaper. We should be able to through the top side there. Oh, he turns back in. Oh, that was greedy. He should have been able to get out through the top. Wait, can he not jump down there? Is that not a Reaper? Is that blocked? Yeah, that's blocked, so he can't actually jump out there. My bad. Apologies. He was not on his way out. It was the correct call. He was just stuck. My bad. For some reason, just at a glance, especially with the creep coming up, I was like, yeah, he's just going to jump down over there. But I've literally never seen a Reaper jump there in my life, so it doesn't even make sense to suggest it. Sometimes your brain just goes and makes its own story, you know. Hey, what's up, Marcus in the chat? How you doing? Hello to you today. Happy weekend, happy Sunday. As we do have our starport swapping to a tech lab. Fast lair from Rainor, so super quick lair. Fast meters have been a little bit more in play. I suppose we'll see what else we have going on. Genuinely fairly intrigued as we have the few drones coming about, the Banshee, the Marine, the SCV is coming through, the Orbital Command is coming online. Let me get that ready to go. Didn't he just jump out wall 10 seconds ago? Did he really jump this one up here? Now I'm confused. This doesn't look jumpable when I zoomed in, and now I feel like I'm going crazy. But I guess that is the Reaper jump-in spot, no? This doesn't look like walkable ground to jump up. Maybe you just jump there anyway. The Reaper was jumping up down. I've just second guessed myself. I've seen him turn around and I'm literally creating a reason why you can't. Yeah, okay, cool. Cool. I'm just going crazy. Alright, good talk, guys. Sometimes when you just watch these games, you really make yourself sound silly. Psyching myself out. It's going to be Banshee speed from Cure as we are going to drop barracks down, and it's going to be the Spy. So the Spy is going to be nice against the Banshee speed. Good chance to help you kind of get mutas up to deal with the Banshees. But obviously, you're not just building mutas to deal with the Banshees here. You're making mutas because you want to kind of control this game with mutas. So something very different from Rainor that we've not seen in the previous games just yet. As those Marines get across. And just going to be seeing a couple of Hellions going to get through, and the creep team is beginning to go down. So a little bit of creep being denied initially. And yeah, that's Stimpak coming through as well. So just going to, like I say, move straight into the bio beyond this as well. Again, Hyperfly Rotors is becoming a much more common occurrence for the Banshees than the Cloaking, because Cloaking gets denied rather easily, whereas Banshee Speed has so much more potential. You know, you can't just be like, cool, I've got a spore in each location, the Banshees don't do anything now with, you know, that's the answer to Cloak. The Banshee Speed, like, is almost kind of unlimited in power, based on kind of how well the user can utilize them. So, it's definitely becoming popular for a good reason. As you just see the Mutalisks in production, so 8 of them on the way up, the drones on the way through as well, adding on the Spore Crawler. And we just have ourselves a couple of Queen shots going to get in there to hit the Banshees. The Muta's going to turn around the other direction. Banshees will take a few more shots. Going to see 1, going to see 2, both going down. It's not what you want to see from the Banshees, right? Just 2 drones and that is it. That's a full-on investment of 2 Banshees in the upgrade that does nothing. A little bit pre-warning about the Mutas, but it feels like we already knew the missile turrets on each mineral line. So these Mutas may not do much immediately, but they're already, you know, controlling a little bit. Going to find some SCVs between the bases, going to make it 3 kills. So first Muta is not bad at all. Now there's costs going to Mutas this early. You know, the Lair, the Spire, it's a lot of gas investment early in the game. And that's why you're going to see upgrades delayed a little bit. So those melee upgrades are going to take a while to come online. We actually have the later Baneling nests. I actually think those upgrades aren't even that late in the grand scheme of things. Like the +1/+1 of the Terran only being halfway done makes me feel like those upgrades of the Zerg are actually at a pretty reasonable position so far. So yeah, both those melee and carapace upgrades started. And the Baneling speed, which maybe takes a bit longer to kick in, but Cure is showing no signs of immediate aggression. So as long as Cure doesn't go in the next couple of moments, which, like I say, it doesn't really look like he necessarily wanted to, and Siege in the Tank maybe he does start to move across, that's where we maybe get into some trouble here as Reynor. If you end up in a big fight before any of your upgrades are done, usually, that's trouble. But this is costing Cure a fair amount, because the Mutalisks are being annoying, so he's losing SCVs by making this move across the map. He's not sticking around to play defense against the Mutas. Instead, he's setting up to go the other direction. A lot of Banes coming through again. Slow Banes would much rather have that speed. 1-1 about to be done from Cure, so he's definitely going to have a window here where he's got that upgrade advantage. In the end, he kills some creep and he's just going to pull back. I feel like he was also afraid of just the Mutas continuing to do a bit too much. He forced the Mutas back around, and maybe if the Mutas there, then you feel a bit afraid. But now they're back on this mineral line, man. That missile turret being focused to the left just leaves that right side open, and that's exactly what Rainor is punishing at the moment. Here's into the main base. 13 SCVs going down. Just going to be seeing the... He was really doing that thing. There's, yeah, Cure, he came in, he denied this hatchery, so this 4th base goes down. So the hatchery goes down super easily. Rainor doesn't even really do much to defend it. But he's making up for so much of the damage he's taken by doing so much damage to these Mutalisks. They've been very successful. And to me, I think we've passed one of the scarier phases of this game where the Mutas were the investment early. And in a big army fight, there might have been problems, but now it's 1-1 versus 1-1. Q is actually late to 2-2. He's had 1-1 for a while and has not started his 2-2 yet. So that's a major mistake from Q, given an advantage away on the upgrade timing. And now Baneling speed being available is huge, and you see Reynor also deciding to invest into the Burrow upgrade. That Burrow is going to be a major factor as well. Having Burrow can create so many opportunities for you in a ZvT, where obviously if Marines are continuing to run across you and so on and so forth, there's just so much possibility for things to go wrong. If your Marines step through, the Ling Bane going to settle down, the Queens are going to gather together. He is going to fly in once again, a couple of shots onto the missile turret already going by, the Hellbat and the Marines trying to step up, a couple of Queens coming forward. The Ling Bane is going to take a chance to step through here as well, as we see the Mutas back in. I see that missile turret still going, and the SCVs going to come in to play the repair. And the Banes roll into the front. That wasn't really a successful kind of first run-in with the Banes. I wouldn't say they got too much there, and the Hellbat's looking to tank. They'll be somewhat happy with this. We are starting to lose this base. Losing that right side on 10,000 feet is scary, because the next thing that's open is just your access to the natural and then main base. Got to try and step through here and play a bit of defense. Mutas from the backside going to get rid of a tank quickly. They're going to justify jumping through there and taking Marine damage. A Muta or 2 going down. Now transfusions on the hatchery, buying more time. Reynor walking the tightrope right now of just saving this base and waiting as long as possible to get units out and to do as much as possible. 40 new Lings are joining the fray. We do have Mutas picking off reinforcements from Cure as well, as Cure continues to settle to the top side. There we go. Looks as though we're going to go for a bit of a bigger push through now. Mutas on the other side getting rid of a siege tank, though. That's going to be a success story, and Reynor still doesn't fully commit, which is absolutely A-okay. Because not committing right now, I feel like, is going to end up, leave you in a pretty good position still. Because as long as you keep the base alive, you're golden, and he is going to do just that. What a defense from Rainor. Really love what he's been able to pull off on that one. That's genuinely a very good save. I mean, this hatchery was low. He transfused it. He did everything he could to buy time. Cure still has advantages up here. This creep has been carved out of the map, so you're not going to have as much creep in front of those right side bases. That's going to make it a bit more of a target still, somewhere Cure can step to more easily in the future at this point. You know, and for, you know, forevermore in this game. Well, maybe not forevermore, but for the near future of this game until Reynor replaces some of that creep. Obviously, some queens have been in trouble. They've had to use energy on transfusions, so creep isn't being replaced there instantly either. Cure does finish up his 2-2 as Reynor finishes his own 2-2, so upgrades even right now. Obviously, Reynor will be slowed going into Hive Tech. With Lingbane Muta, you do usually stop on kind of Lingbane Muta for a while. You do kind of stop on this kind of composition. And you move into Hive much more slowly. Just because you kind of need to kind of have as much invested into the army as possible. You're kind of reliant on the mutas doing a good amount of harassing damage. And I just missed the double Widow Mines going off and splashing some of those mutas, so apologies for some missed observing there. As I'm busy looking over here, the Zerg army. Infestation Pit finishing up. We do have the Hive then on the way in. And where do we go with the Hive? I mean, Ultras are usually the big stepping stone into your late game because they're just so good. They accompany the Ling Bane Force so well. You've got the upgrades already. They're something that arrive more quickly than everything else too, and they're a bit more substantial. And because of that, again, it kind of it complements all the weaknesses of Ling Bane Muta, which is that it is a little bit weaker, kind of straight up army composition. So the Ultras really patch those holes in this comp. And kind of let you play into the later stage, and you can play Lingbane Muta Ultra for a long time. But it just gives you that kind of stepping stone to then play into kind of, you know, spellcasters and so as necessary. To take the chance there, gets a single Widow Mine picked off. The rest of the bio coming up the right side. The Muta's taken a step away, still got the 3-3 upgrades. In production too, as we have that hatchery in that top right corner. Going to come under fire very shortly. You're just going to see the Marines stepping over to the left, and now this hatch on the right taking a lot of damage. The Banes are going to come crushing through, aiming for those Marines. Going to knock through a bunch of them already. On the left-hand side, we settle down as well. Just going to see the rest of these Banes wanting to take the chance to roll forward right there. Bio going to try and split. Now the Muta's just going to fly in. There's not enough to really support the Thors. At least that's what Reynor is saying. So he's just going to fly in on top and start playing cleanup. The Ling's underneath, and now we're going to play chase the Medivacs. As soon as they run out of boost, it's going to be dangerous, but Reynor doesn't see the incoming Marines. Those Banes are going to come in. Now we can continue to chase the Medivacs. They didn't keep moving. They stopped joining the Marines, but with the Banes showing up, now those Medivacs are all exposed, and a bunch of them going down. We lose the base on the left side at the same time, so the Marines over here are able to kill off a hatchery. That's a major positive, but that is really about it. As the rest of the Marines come toward the upper left, we see the few Zerglings coming through. The Queen is going to get picked off. Bailing still gathering together, 10 drones going down. As you see the 3-3 upgrades still coming about. A couple of Banes crash through. Marines taking some serious damage here. The Lings all getting across. The Muta's going to play cleanup. Medivac's already going down. Queen just going to take the chance to jump in and pick off that Medivac as well. So that's going to go down as well. So, I mean, just so much going down for Cure recently. He's rebuilding pretty quickly. Still kind of more of the same, so we're not seeing kind of anything super cool coming through. Obviously, the Thors are a great addition against the Mutas typically, so that's why we've seen some of those still being added on. And similarly, though, from Reynor, he's not really going anywhere off this Hive Tech. I mean, 3-3 just started. Adrenal Glands should be one of the next things we prioritize here, because we're still very Ling heavy. That's going to be a big factor. So yeah, Adrenal Glands, he needs to get started ASAP, because right now it feels like he's maybe forgetting it. He throws down the Older Cabinet. I'm happy to see that too, to be fair. I really felt like that was going to be the instantaneous thing once Hive was done, but he's been caught up in some of the fights and rebuilding off of those fights. Resources lost 16.7 to 13.9, favoring the Terran, which is kind of where it's meant to be, but still not a huge gap, so Reynor should be pretty happy with how the fights have gone so far, based on that. Here we go, as we have a couple of Lings trying to split up initially. Widow Mines, not doing too much. Actually going to be splitting very well initially from Reynor. Now most of the Banes are gone. We're going to see the next Banes halted by this Siege Tank. 11 kills on him, and he's a big boy. Just in a great position to stop more units rolling down and reinforcing. Just what Cure needed to just stabilize that location. Keep this 5th base up. There's a 5-base Terran right now. Is a very happy Terran. You've got access to all the economy you could possibly be wanting at this point. Units peel away over that far right side. The rest of the Lingbane Muta up to the top. Still got the 33 upgrades coming through. The Thor, Marine, Medevac building. Widow Mine's on the way. And another hatchery on this 9 o'clock position right now, just gathering up over there as Marine, Marauder, Medevac. We'll take a little jaunt to the left side, and that might be a 9 o'clock base kind of drop in the near future. Nice scan, get some of the burrowed Banes. Mentioned burrow a long time ago, yet to really have seen that be effective at all. But these mutas are going to say they can fight this drop. I mean, it's a lot of mutas. I'm not going to say it's efficient, but they do indeed play cleanup. There's the bio on the right side looking for a push in. There's a lot of Banelings over here. We obviously have the creep threat to kind of launch into this army with. Widow Mines trying to get their shots off. Finally gets a connection. The Marines did a great job of pulling back. So most of the Banelings have to go off on Marauders / the Thors, which is, again, creating an inefficient trade. However, you can kind of see the supply for Cure has been just dropping down. Now, Reynor's been losing supply too, but Cure's drops a lot more. And now the big problem is that these mutas get back across the map, so escaping from this is going to be difficult. The Thor finally goes down. That last Medevac trying to play getaway. A couple of new Medevacs are trying to reinforce here, so that's going to leave you in some issues as well. And the chase down is going to be massive. It's the problem playing against Lingbane Muta. Running away is so infrequently an option. It just puts you into such a tough spot. I mean, Cure was very committed up there, and obviously at first the mutas were elsewhere, but once the mutas joined back up, it became a very different scenario. Hey Zygo, thank you so much for the gifted subs. I'll shout those out properly after this game because I was pretty deep and heavily committed into this one right now, and it just feels like there's drama around every corner. Because as we reset for a moment or two, Reynor is maxed. I can't imagine he's going to wait long before continuing to make plays here. Again, adrenal glands forgotten about. That upgrade we mentioned, just still not having it is a big factor. Could make those Lings so much more deadly, which is amazing later in the game, especially because it really puts it to this point where Lings are going to be so good when it comes to kind of running into mineral lines and just shredding structures. The run-by phase of this game is coming up, realistically. The later this game goes, the more you start kind of being, hitting the town with run-bys and just kind of throwing Lings away. So adrenal glands would help to make those, trades that are coming through soon much more effective. Obviously, fighting against Marine Marauder would be nice as well to have even better Lings. No one's ever going to deny that. This was a great moment from Rainor. 22 SCVs killed as the bottom side base takes a lot of damage. You can see the chance to grab a Thor here as well. These mutas have not been messing around when it comes to just keeping control of the game. That's one of the things about playing mutas as well. In fact, they're a bit more viable again. If you are a fast player, if you are a very active player, such as Rainor, you can really make good use of the Mutalisks, and that's exactly what he's been doing. He's forcing Cure to play quickly, he's forcing Cure to play around the map, onto his units, and just staying on track of everything as well. Been a pretty huge factor, as we just see a little bit of bio coming across and gathering together right now. The CC that was on the right side is going to float back over here. Maybe we try and take the bottom left base. I do think the fifth base is kind of a sixth base, I guess, is a bit more of an issue on this map for Terrans, because going over here or going over there is a bit off the beaten path. So if you're not in that kind of control of the game where you're kind of securing one side of the map and just pushing up from there, getting that next base does become a bit more of an issue. Just getting some missile turrets there. I don't know if we should be fighting Marines. We actually lose a lot of those Mutalisks very quickly. 64 new Lings coming up. Lingbane Ultra dives to the bottom left side, just gets the base and just pushes this back. And that's going to be units just not in position at all to really deal with that. Still no adrenal glands again. Mistake from Rainor here in this opening game against Cure as he again just dives in with the Mutalisks. It helps that he's in a good position because it feels a lot more possible to make moves like this when you're in a good place. If you're playing from behind, moves like this don't really work because you don't have the replenishing ability that you have right now to kind of replace the mutas as you kind of throw them into a bunch of these fights and kind of let them take a bunch of damage. Bane Ultra on the left-hand side. There's a bunch more Banes coming through, additional Zerglings coming up. The list will take their step over that left-hand side and join up over there as the bio will take a moment, just going to jump through. Pulling Ultra, Bane wanting to come across as well, so we just take a chance to dive on in here. Bio unit's going to get jumped on, going to be seeing the Bane still crushing forward, and the Marauders are going to have to pull back. A few more of those Marines going down as well. The bio on that right-hand side is just going to say GG. It's trying to push through, but the damage just keeps being done. Rainor has been winning fight after fight for the last defense. That, like, 1 to 2 minute defense from Rainor, I think really established what this game was going to be. Because that's where Cure, that was the last time Cure really had a good, solid, scary push. That's when he last had the opportunity to kind of take full advantage of what Rainor was doing, and it didn't work. Rainor getting that defense was an absolute turning point in that game. And then some mistakes from that point from Cure. 2-2 was much later than it should have been, right? He should have had maybe more timing windows where he had upgrade advantage. They never came about because he didn't start his 2-2 straight away, for example, so... yeah, GG's are now into game number 2 as Raynor up 1 against Cure. And we head into this second game to see where we're going to go and to see what will happen next. Alright, hatching a couple dronies coming about. The racks and the SCV coming by. Just need the Overlord making its way down to the bottom left-hand side initially. Just take a moment to breathe, honestly. It's been some pretty hectic games. Like, you know, young Raynor was a little bit slower to begin with, but eventually got going too. I mean, some great games on this opening day, like I say. You maybe say Reynor Cure is the highlight. I'm super excited for Raynor solo. We don't see that much CVZ nowadays, and while it's a mirror matchup, it's between two great players, maybe even the favorites of this group. That has a lot of potential to shake things up further down the line. We do obviously have Nightmare will give us some Protoss games. It's very rare we go so long without Protoss games on the stream, but we will have a couple of Protoss games to round the day out as well. So, yeah, looking forward to a couple of PvZ and a PvT to wrap things up today as well. We have some great games still to come. Honestly, with how Ryung played against Raynor, I'm kind of excited to see what Ryung can do against Solar as well. I think that's also going to be very exciting. Very, very exciting indeed. Queens, Lings, Ling Speed, all producing through, guys. Early game for the first couple minutes is nothing too wild. It is Ling Speed from Raynor. Obviously, we have seen him play a bunch of different builds today already. Against Ryung, against Cure now. It's been a different build on every map so far. I'll see how many more times he can do that. As it goes fast Evo Chamber this game. So maybe looking for, what, a fast Carapace or so? And just play some very efficient Lings early. Interesting. Well, Queens will be there. Reaper gets turned around. We have the factory about to complete. Link speed will be done in a few moments. Just got the Queen, the drones coming through the factory. Is going to hop off the hop onto the reactor. The barracks hops off of it. We'll just see our first few Hellions on the way initially. What is that Evo Chamber going to be for? It does feel like Carapace. And there it is, Carapace coming up. I mean, if you're going to get an early upgrade, Carapace is it. Because obviously the Lings generally benefit more from Carapace in this matchup than melee, at least initially. The reason being is that just range units versus melee units, right? Range units are going to get more shots off than the melee units are. So typically Carapace is going to be the better upgrade to start with here. As the Zerg player. And Reaper gets in, so he's going to get the Scout and the fast upgrade. So that is going to be knowledge from Cure that Raynor is upgrading quickly. I wonder what the general benefit of that fast Carapace is, because that's before the third hatchery, right? So your third hatchery only just goes down now. Is this just like super fast upgrades overall, and the general consensus you're just going to play super Ling heavy? Is this Ling Infesta maybe, actually? Like super fast upgrades, just Ling Infesta, no Bailings? Just as Raynor has been kind of putting on a display of different ZvT styles so far, that's the one thing he's not done just yet that was kind of popular not so long ago, so maybe we see a little bit of that, an additional extractor coming through, and creep obviously spreading as well. Once more, Q is back into the Hyperflight Rotor Banshees. This time there's going to be no Spire in play to make his life miserable for the Banshees, so that was obviously another negative for Q's early game last time around, where he just never really got off the ground because those Banshees got shut down so quickly. Not that you need Banshees to do loads and loads of damage, but obviously losing them for 2 SCVs, for 2 drone kills immediately is not exactly ideal. The Marines will go after the Overlord, and the Overlord will take a few more shots, just getting pushed over to the sides. And Hyperflight Rotor's halfway done. The Marine's going to be there still after the Overlord. So got melee and Carapace upgrades building through. The Zerglings get up to the top side. The Lair building on the natural. We have a few more units coming across here from Cure as well. Again, Lair building through. The extra drones coming by. Got the Spore Crawlers coming up as well, so get ourselves set up on that one. Cure's going to play mech. So that's going to be his choice. He's going to play mech, in which case I feel like what Reynor is currently doing, yeah, he's trying to play Ling Infesta. Ling Infesta obviously is not really a thing against mech because Blue Flame Hellions will just kill everything. You're super reliant on the Lings. I don't think it works against mech, at least. I'm not really sure if I've actually seen it before. My common media kind of thought process is probably not, because let's be realistic. There's a nice catch with the Lings here. Let's be realistic. Like, usually Ling Bane is already a mistake against mech, so pure Ling against mech, I want to say it's probably not going to be pretty. So Reynor needs to try and figure that out and identify it. We do see the Queen's going to get some damage on the Banshees, but for now they will get away instantly into the Blue Flame. I mean, you do have a fast Hive here from Reynor. I mean, maybe fast Ultralisk can actually just shred this still. Like, what are you going to have up immediately to really deal with Ultras? Like, tanks are great against Ultras once you get enough of them. Like, this is going to be a case of we might just have, like, Ultras out against a very low tank count, and maybe we could just run in and take some big fights. You're obviously going to be on Hive quickly, so you can invest into Vipers and get Blinding Clouds available. So that's going to be a big option as well for you, so that's definitely a factor we can consider. As that +2 Carapace continues through on the Evo Chamber, just going to throw an Inject down with the Queen. And again, the Hive ticking along for the moment. So that Hive coming through, Infesta coming up, a couple of Banshees currently escaping away through the top side of the map. And yeah, Hellions, just one vehicle plating and weapons on the way. Blue Flame coming up. Hellions going to move to Hellbats. This hatchery is dead, but there's nothing nearby. And with only Lings on the map, I don't imagine we're going to run straight into headfirst into Hellbats. Unless we really have to, so I'm just going to let the hatch go down. Some creep teams being cleaned up. There is the question mark of, well, what do we do against these Hellbats? Because, like I say, there's not really anything else to fight against them with. Now some drones go down on the left side as well. Like, we are just going to have to fight these with Zerglings. Fungal Growth will add some damage to it. Blue Flame kicks in at the perfect moment as well. That's one way to lose a lot of Lings very quickly. This is very quickly becoming a build order losses. We don't even need the mech. It's just Hellbats. Like Hellbats alone are working right now, and if that ain't a sign that this is, again, not really meant to work out for Rainor, I don't know what is. Like, again, in concept, maybe if you can just get up to Ultra super fast, maybe there's a possibility there, but you got to survive until that point, and that involves keeping your 4th base alive, which will do for the moment. Banshees are now on the natural expansion. Rainor down a lot of supply. Ultra Cavern on the way. He's going to commit through to it. Banshees again pushed back a little. Gonna go Microbial Shroud as well. I mean, everything right now from Reynor is gonna have to look clutch, essentially. I love that Cure's just coming up the left. I mean, Cure cannot do wrong by fighting right now. I'm almost convinced that any trade from Cure is just gonna be insanely efficient. Resource loss is actually even at the moment. Guess we'll see. I mean, this just looks even worse than what we already had going on. Drops the Fungal. Just going to drop a second and just send it. Kind of got to get rid of the Cyclones here, otherwise they're just going to kind of bully the Queens. Viper's on the way, more Lings producing out. Can we find the value? Just because the only thing I will say is we're only trading Lings, so it is fairly efficient in that regard, I suppose. You know, you don't need a lot of gas right now. I'm not loving how much gas is in the bank though, because I would love to see Ultras, and like I say, you're not going to afford Ultras with the current gas scenario. Maybe seeing the Queen count has to be a big factor here as well. 2 more Infestors on the way up. Raynor back against the wall, mech knocking on the front door. Will he answer? Abducts a Viking, but doesn't even get it close to the Queen, so the Viking even plays getaway there. Hellion Cyclone over to the left. Swinging around a different direction now. A couple of Infestors coming through. So you can see the Fungals going down. So you can see the hatchery is going to be in trouble. Going to go down in a moment or so. And this felt inevitable. I mean, the Ultra's on the way, but I just don't think it's going to matter. The Cyclone count is good enough that we're probably just going to be able to deal with the few Ultras that are coming on the map. And here, again, like I said, I don't think you can do any wrong by just attacking. The Infestors are throwing whatever Fungals they can out. Microbial Shroud goes down as we try and help in any way possible. see the Ultra still nibbling on. We call Ultras nibblers? Probably not. Ultra just continuing by, just sweeping up what it can. And to be fair, we clean up a lot, but Reynor's now supply blocked, and Hellions morph into Hellbats again, going to continue through. G is called. This was a build order loss from every stage of the game from Reynor. Base economy, tough to get to that 4th base still. You might even lose the 4th base trying to tech away into Banelings already. And then your 3 base trying to play Ling Bane. You're not going to win the game playing 3 base Ling Bane. So maybe you throw the Roach Roaring down instead as a response once you realize it's mech. I just think he didn't know it was mech until the Blue Flame Hellbats were hitting. And the moment that happened, he's just caught up in playing defense, and then he probably feels like it's too far gone, right? So yeah, I think I gotta imagine that that's his mindset there, and that he's just basically relying on Cure to stop attacking, but Cure just didn't stop attacking. So yeah, I imagine it's just a lot of the intricacies of the setup that he had that made it kind of awkward to switch. And honestly, I wonder how much Reynor's even played kind of that style against mech as well, right? Like, this might be one of those things where he also didn't quite know what his best kind of plan was going to be, so Hey, what's up, all over 47? Thank you so much for the Prime. 3 months, appreciate you. Thank you so much for supporting the stream and the tournaments. Thank you very much indeed again. The WardiTV Korean Royale. These tournaments that have WardiTV in the name happen because of your guys' support. So if you do enjoy the stream, if you're enjoying the content, if you're enjoying the tournament, hit us up with a Prime, hit us up with a sub, give some if you're feeling generous. I actually never went back to the gifted subs. I apologize. Zygo666 on the gifted subs earlier. I mentioned it, but didn't come back to shout them out properly. Thank you so much for those 5 gifted. Going out to Texan Steve, Mad on Fire, Cosmic Shocking, Razorback OTP, and Smoggy10. Thank you so much, Zygo. Sorry, I got caught up in that first game and then got into the game 2 and just forgot to go back. Apologies. Thank you so much for the generosity of gifting some subs. Thank you, thank you, thank you, as we do have a Reaper coming across the map. TC coming around, the Marine in production. The Reaper is going to head down to the bottom, see what's going on, scout to see what's happening initially. Not too much is the reality of the command center and factory build up. Marine and the SCV coming in. Drones, Overlord, Queen continue to build for the moment as the Reaper pulls off to that side. The CC will build on the naturals. Just going to get that straight into position already. And we're going to build a 3rd CC in the main base as well. It's a triple command center producing for the moment. Going to get that brought on through for now. I feel like I need at least one unit to address the Hellions. I mean, yes, but his entire game plan is based on playing against Bio, not mech. Like, the entire situation is like, yes, what he did was never going to work. But if he'd known it was mech sooner, he would have made more adjustments sooner. And by the point he knew it was mech, it was too late to really adjust. Is the only assumption I can make. Right? So, like, yeah, obviously, like, Lings and Queens are not going to really deal with that amount of Hellbats coming in. But that was just never the intention with the build. And by the time we figured it out, it was just, like I say, a little bit too late to really start doing much about it. And, I mean, maybe it wasn't. Maybe he could have gotten away with kind of throwing the Roach Roaring down just in that moment. I still think he just thinks he's in a rough position, and he's probably thinks he's in too bad of a spot to try and transition. And so instead, he just tried to continue with his plan and kind of, you know, threw up a Hail Mary, basically. Like, hey, maybe you don't kill me and I get to Ultras and somehow it works, right? The Marine's going to step out the front. Raven and the barracks still coming through. Out on the lair, out on the hatchery. A few drones and Lings building by. The Queen in production as we settle on in. Again, there's a couple of Marines coming up. The lair continues to produce. A few Lings coming by. The Queen in production with that Baneling nest coming down as well. Everything's looking pretty solid there for the moment. As, yeah, Cure is going to be having himself the extra barracks finishing in a moment. That's just many second racks, right? So 2 racks at the moment. Triple CC set up. Overseer just finished morphing to get away from trouble there, so those Marines will not find the kill. And Reynor is once again going back to the Spire, going back to what worked in that game 1. I do think Reynor probably views this as he is a much faster player than Cure. And so he really believes by going into something speedy like the Mutas, he can create a lot more advantages for himself over the course of a game than if he plays some of these other styles. I think same idea with the Ling Infestor, where you're going to be very run-by heavy and very active on the map with a super high Ling count. He's trying to play styles that really kind of take advantage of, again, what I think he thinks is his better advantage here, which is speed. He's been fairly vocal in the past that Cure is not the fastest of Terran players. Cure is very efficient with what he does, though, so while he may not have the overall speed of the other Terrans, he does have the ability to still do a lot, even if he's not as fast. But obviously that gets stretched and that gets forced into kind of, ways he's not as comfortable with if you're going to run around the map with mutas, lings, those run-bys and counters and so on. And that's exactly what this Muta Ling Bane style will allow you to do. Raven got pushed back already. We see the few Marines with these medevacs coming over. Stim not done yet, so this is not an immediate kind of scare factor. In fact, I'm a little bit scared for Cure, because if you step forward a bit too aggressively right now, Ling Bane jumps on you so you can't stay on the ground, but then the mutas jump on the medevacs. This becomes very scary very quickly, so getting a couple crew teamers and backing away is probably the absolute best case scenario here from Cure. Sticking around is probably not going to be it. And we have a few missile turrets on the way up as well. Cure is floating gas, man. I saw in the chat and I was like, yeah, it's kind of weird. He's got 4 gases up and he's just floating gas. Very inefficient build from Cure. He could have taken the gas way later. Like, all of that gas mining could have been mineral mining already. And he's going to start his armory, so he will have the money to go 2-2 at least. It's just he has money to go 2-2 since the 1-1 was halfway done. So yeah, it's been a little bit inefficient on the Cure side of things for sure. As Rainor is going to see the few Marines poking around over there. What are the Mutas going to do? They're kind of lingering on the map right now, so it looks as though he may try and get a catch on this army. Yeah, just not quite going to happen as the unit just got far enough away to stop that from being a real factor. Changelings going down, so they get picked off pretty quick. So going to see the rest of this Marine Redback Raven heading down to the bottom side. We see a lot of Lings going to go up top as well. Melee upgrades still coming through. The flyer attack going to be a part of that. Mutalisks still being added, so the numbers will come up. That's a run by into the natural. Too slow on the deeper rays. That's bad. And now access onto the main base as well. And that third base in trouble. Cure's just going to click across the map because he doesn't really have much option. But because Reynor is going to do so much damage here, he's likely going to be able to just give up the 4th. And so he will just give up the 4th base. Those SCVs in the main are just dead, man. It was a beautiful split against those Widow Mines. And this run-by is just going to kill every SCV. The main mineral line is not going to be safe. The third mineral line's already been forced to run away. Reynor just needs to defend back at home. He gets a few banelings out, trying to play defense. I mean, this is going to be a problem for him. He's up against 1-1, so those Marines are a bit powerful, but there's a lot of banelings, and that's what he's going to be able to use to run through here. Mine's already going off, and the medevacs have to load up and just jump between bases. Cure can't go home. He needs more damage, and that's why he is going to stay and just try and drop into the main and just try and find different directions to work on. I mean, I like Reynor's approach to it, which is kind of slow and patient. Like, he runs in when he needs to. He's not overcommitting through super quickly or anything, as this does look as though Reynor is looking pretty darn good. I mean, the up and down kind of aspect of this is nice, but kind of forcing banelings to be used very inefficiently. I mean, that bot is going to go better for Cure, and army supplies are still similar, but Cure is a 23 SCV Terran. Reynor killed so much in that regard. Now the mutas are back over here. You're going to be able to stop this kind of up and down kind of ping pong effect. The Mutalisks do not chase the medevacs just yet, so the medevacs do manage to escape away. Mules are going to be highly something we're highly reliant on now. Cure's not even rebuilding SCVs. He's going to try and win the game from just attacking. He will get to 2-2 versus 1-1. He did kill the Baneling Nest, so it's going to be a little awkward for Reynor. Has to be very good against these mines. Really needs to minimize. These are some of the last Banelings we have for the moment rolling through, but hey, they are connecting. Mutas are going to get in after the medevacs as well. Get rid of those medevacs. You get rid of so much of the kind of sticking factor or the staying power of that Terran army as well. Cure gets cleaned up. He says GG. Reynor moves to 2-0 on the day and will be up in this